Good morning, guys. I am sitting on my porch. I don't know where you live, but I live in the South, and it is the end of August, and it is so cool outside. And every morning I open my screened-in porch door and just let the cool air come into the house. It's wonderful. That makes me feel like fall is so close. My favorite time of the year. Okay, hello, I'm Diane. Today, unfortunately, we're going to be talking about grief. Last week was my grandson's Kurt's birthday week. And for some reason, his birthday is the hardest day of the whole year. You know, Christmas is rough. Thanksgiving is rough. Even New Year's Day is rough. I know you hear the rooster. Isn't that quaint? I'm sure we'll hear it again. But I love it out here in the country. Anyway, and of course the day of his death is the next super hard day. But it's something about his birthday that we don't get to celebrate him that seems to be the worst. He was 15, and last Thursday he would have been 24, which is so hard for me to imagine. He's been gone 8.5 years, which is incredible. On his birthday, that hard pain, that you felt when he died, it returns. It's like fresh all over again. So hard. Grief is so hard, especially if it's a child. And I know that you people know. Many of you have commented to me that you've also lost a child or a grown son. You know, a child is a child, no matter what age. Even losing parents and close friends is so hard. It's hard. It takes you months just to realize that it really happened, that they're really gone, and that you're not going to see them again. I can't even see my notes. The sun is kind of bright out here. I am using my notes. Let me tell you why. I work all week, and on the weekend I make videos. So I don't have a lot of time to sit down and think about all of this. So I write it all down, read it over. Yeah, that's what I want to say. And I keep my notes handy because I'm so stressed out at work. I might go blank. Who knows? Okay. Grief is, they say it's painful. It's actually a pain that you feel inside your chest. It's like being stabbed repeatedly, over and over. And not only that, you have a sick feeling in the pit of your stomach. And quite frankly, it doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. I thought to myself, I will never smile again. I will never laugh again. I will never be happy again. It's all over. So why should I live? It's all over. All happiness on this earth is over. Why live? Well, that was simple. Because I have 6 other grandchildren and 4 children. and they have their mates, you know. I have to stay for them. Even though things will never be the same, I have to be here. Do you want me to quit swinging? Am I making you dizzy? I'll stop swinging if I can remember to. And the other reason is you just frankly don't have a choice. This is what life has dealt me, so I have to deal with it. Like it or lump it. And you spend hours, days, months, years going, what if? What if she had made another turn instead of that turn? What if she hadn't have decided to go pick up that piece of furniture? Just what if? Over and over and over. It drives you crazy. It drives you crazy. And no matter how many different scenarios you come up with, it's all the same. It happened the way it happened. And Kurt's gone. And you have to accept that. Acceptance is a hard thing in this life, but it's necessary to go on. Now, I've told you this before, but I stayed at my daughter's house for 7 weeks. She lives next door to me. Now I live in her backyard, obviously in a tiny house. I know you people know all this, but for 7 weeks, she and her oldest son and myself sat in her living room, literally, constantly, for 7 weeks. Now that was after all the people came for 3 weeks, because her house was full all the time for 3 weeks. And then it was just us, and we sat there. Blaze would sit by his mother and hold her hand, put his arm around her, and I would just sit there, and there was nothing we could say. Oh, I miss Kurt. Well, yeah, that's a big duh. So you don't even voice it. You don't even talk about it. You don't care about your bills. I could have cared less about my website and what was going on there. I just didn't care. I didn't care about anything except being there for my daughter. We just couldn't leave her. So probably 5 weeks in, my grandson said, I have an idea. Well, we were eager for any kind of idea. We said, what? And he said, every night, let's just watch one movie. One movie. Well, that didn't appeal to me. Sure, it didn't appeal to Ashley. But anything to help Blaze. So we said, okay. So we would all discuss the choices. Gave us something else to think about. We started with Bambi. Of all things, Bambi. Something very low-key. Something sweet. Something we'd all seen before. And we progressed up to very low-key, entertaining things. And we unfortunately had to go through the Lord of the Rings. Oh my God. I'm too old for Lord of the Rings. But Blaze sure enjoyed it. And then when it was over, he'd talk about different aspects of it. And we knew that was helping him. So we bared through it. Although we didn't want to watch movies. But we did it for Blaze. Okay, he was and you wonder how he was like 20, I don't know, I'm guessing 24, 25 when this happened. He was a professional golfer, and he was gone most of the time, different states, whatever, playing golf. So his home base was his mom's. He had his own entrance in the side of her house, and he still lived at home. That's why he was able to sit on the couch for 7 weeks. I'm sorry. Anyway, after 7 weeks of sleeping on Ashley's couch, as she slept on the other couch, she decided she would go to her bedroom after 7 weeks. So I decided to go home next door. So I went home and knew that I had to get started back in the workroom. I had no idea what was going on, and I had to get some kind of life back in order. So I started doing that during the day. Then at night I would just sit in my living room. I could not watch TV. I could not listen to music. That was something that I enjoyed. And there was no way I was going to enjoy anything when Kurt couldn't enjoy anything. I wasn't thinking correctly, because I know he had a wonderful trip to heaven. I know that he did. I know that he did. And I knew that he was fine in heaven. But still, the fresh pain of him being gone was, it was almost unbearable. And you just ask God, can I just step away from the pain just for 10 minutes? Just for 10 minutes, just for a little respite from it, because it is so painful. You guys, please, I know you probably get tired of me talking about this, but if you'll wait till the end, I'll explain why this is so important for me. Okay, I happen to think about Andy Griffith. Now, I've watched Andy Griffith for years, as most people did. And I thought, I wonder if I could watch Andy. Because at night when I would go to bed with my box of tissue, you know, you cry till you fall asleep. You wake up during the night, you start crying again. And God forbid that you hear someone else crying during the night and that wakes you up. And it starts all over again. Because that happened many times. My little granddaughter's room was next to mine. She woke me up crying many times. Okay, so back to Andy. I started watching Andy. When I worked, I have a TV in my workroom. I'd watch Andy. At night, I'd watch Andy. When I went to bed, I would turn Andy on. It was like this comforting, familiar, wholesome thing that for just, you know, a fleeting second or two, I could listen to and get away from the pain. I watched Andy Griffith on all my TVs. Now, I'm not talking about my family. They had their own rooms. My son and grandson and granddaughter lived with me at the time. I don't know what they watched. All I know is I watched Andy Griffith for over a year. Over a year. I could almost repeat verbatim different scenes. I mean, that helped me. I'm just telling you, if you're grieving, you find whatever you can to help you. Now, during that time, Ashley started thinking about her nonprofit in Kurt's name, because Kurt was this giving kid. He wanted to help everyone he saw, homeless people. He wanted to help everyone. So Ashley decided to carry on his legacy through giving, and she chose giving to children, making their life better in school especially, so that they could come to school dressed nicely, with new shoes on, a nice backpack, so that they felt as special as any other child there. Because you know, kids can be cruel at school and make fun of other children about a torn backpack, smelling bad, whatever. They can find it and pick it out and be mean to other children. So Ashley's goal was to make children feel confident about going to school and being around other children and enjoy their time in school without any of those heavy, I'm not good enough feelings. And she did that, which turned into a monster in itself. It's a wonderful place. I'm still going to take you there when the weather gets cool. And I had a notebook and a pen, and I was jotting down everything I could remember about Kurt. And I refuse to forget all of these things. When I'm very, very old, I don't want to forget about these special things about Kurt. And then I thought, I think I'll write a book for my family so that years later they can read it and remember the wonderful, kind, sweet child that he was. So that's what I did for the next 2 years. It took 2 years. And lo and behold, I read it 27 times. And I read it trying to put myself in a non-person view and tried to go, okay, what would I think about this if I was a normal person? And I thought, this book is really good. It's really good. So I self-published it, sold all those books, and then I even had to order again for a second publication. And I think we have about 30 of those left. Well, anyway, that helped me so much. By the way, the book is on Kindle on Amazon. It's called Chocolate Covered Strawberries. I will talk about this book later, and I'm going to put it on Amazon in book form if I ever get to quit work. Okay. More of that to come later. Okay, during all of this time, I still feel this monster pain, devastation. And my doctor said, let me give you something that's going to help you. And I said, no. I have to feel this pain. This pain is here for a reason. This pain, the level of this pain, is equal to the level of my love that I had for my Kurt. It is. I have to feel it. I can't dumb it down. Just try to get through it. What am I going to do? Stay on medication the rest of my life? No, I'm not going to do that. So I just refused that and kept going. To this day, it's been 8.5 years. I still feel grief. There are different levels of it now. I can go back to the day Kurt died and feel that pain. I try not to do that. I try not to go over the accident like I did at first, over and over and over. I try not to do that. I don't do that anymore. that I've learned to accept that I have to live with this grief. And I've told my daughter, you don't have a choice, dear. You're going to feel this pain until the day you die. And she said, I know, Mother. Kurt was her baby. And you all know, you've had several children. Your baby's a little bit special. You know, it's the last one. They kind of get by with different things that the other ones didn't. Anyway, so Kurt may be gone. But at age 15, he did not stop growing and maturing. He lives on this earth every day at his mother's nonprofit. She furnishes clothes, free clothes, free shoes, free backpacks, free underwear, free socks, anything that a child needs to go back to school. It's all free. And not only is it just like not a handout, these children get to go inside a boutique type feel place, and they get to shop for themselves, whatever they want. Not true, they get like 3 pair of blue jeans and so many shirts, and everything is numbered, of course. But they get to pick it out themselves. There's a dressing room, they get to try it on. She also furnishes prom dresses. If you're from a little child all the way to 12th grade, and you can visit this nonprofit for free. And you can come 3 times a year. 3 times a year and get what you need. She took care of, I think right before school started this time, I think it was 1,400 children. Do you know how many pair of blue jeans that is? And I think the blue jeans are new now. She has a donor who buys hundreds of blue jeans, brand new, and brings them to her. It's incredible. It's incredible how our community just stepped right up and made this thing work. It is incredible. It's a wonderful place where miracles happen every day. Now, in my mind's eye, I can see Kurt standing there, bending over, helping a little boy put his tennis shoes on and tying it for him. I can see Kurt handing clothes to children. Sorry. He is there. He lives there. I'm sure he comes home with his mom. He comes over to see me. He's still here, and I feel him. I know he's gone from my sight, but I know he's here. He's here, doing exactly what he would be doing if he was physically here. He is the most giving, lovely child. And I know I don't talk about my other grandchildren. I have 6 more. And they're all just as special as Kurt was. And I love them equally as much. But when it comes to Kurt, I am in pain over Kurt. And yes, I'm going to talk about him more. I am. And I don't apologize for it, because they know. They feel my pain also. They were all very close to Kurt. He was just the life of the party. He made everyone laugh. He had the most wonderful dry humor. He is very missed. I was going to tell you that I know there's a car coming down path. And I'm sure when it gets near us, my dogs are going to bark. We're just going to stop and let that pass. But I was going to say, I know why parents divorce when they lose a child. They're so goofy. They're going in the house to break in the car that's right here beside us. Isn't that crazy? See, they're in the house. Looking out the window. Anyway. Back to divorced couples that lose a child. There's just really nothing to talk about unless you're super, super, super close. Because everything you say is like, it's redundant. You know, I miss Kurt. Well, duh. Yeah. What else you want to talk about? Nothing. I just wanted you to know I miss Kurt. Okay. I mean, you just lose communication. Grief is a solo experience. For me, it has been. It's another reason I'm isolated, I suppose, on my own. It's hard to talk about other things. Even after 8.5 years, I try. Just recently, and I don't know why this happened, but I've had 3 people visit me. My grandson came yesterday, who I haven't seen since May. And then my daughter and her husband came the week before. Also, my granddaughter Evie came that week also. That doesn't happen a lot, but I so appreciate them coming. And I try to ask them questions, involve myself in their life. I want to know what's going on and how life is going for them. And I appreciate those visits. So I'm not exactly alone, but most of my days are strictly alone. And as an introvert, I guess that I prefer it that way. I know that I do. And my children know that. I mean, it's no big awakening to them that I'm an introvert. No, they know that I am. And I don't try to be anything else anymore. I'm just who I am. Okay, I was going to tell you that, well, if you haven't lost someone that's really close to you, you are really a lucky person. But if you're alive, you're gonna lose somebody. You're gonna lose somebody. And there's different levels of grief. And I hope you never lose someone super close. Do you hear are those katydids? I love that sound. That is strictly southern stuff, I think. But I love it. But if you are grieving, and if you're freshly grieving, I will tell you, it takes a while, but it does start to lessen. The pain lessens every day by an nth of a degree. So you will live through it. You have to live through it. You can't do something stupid. You have people who love you that want you to stick around. That's why I'm here. It's the only reason I'm here. Because of my family. But when we get together, we do not talk about Kurt. We do not. And I think that's one thing that bothers me. Why I do not like to get together. He's like the elephant in the room. Everyone misses his presence, but no one's going to talk about it. And I guess that's the way it is in other families too. So if you're grieving, I suggest you try to find an avenue of escape. And there probably is one if you just look hard enough. Mine is writing a book. Ashley's is starting a nonprofit. I wouldn't assume that you would have to do that if the pain is not that intense. The closer a person is, of course, the pain is going to be more intense. But what I really want to tell you is, you have allowed me to talk about my Kurt. I can talk about my Kurt to you guys because my dogs don't care. They don't care. So I don't talk to them about Kurt. It has given me an outlet. I think 1,000 things a day about Kurt. And you allow me to speak about it, which is wonderful. I will forever be grateful to you just for listening to me. Some of you are still listening to me. I know you are. And I appreciate you. Now I'm going to let you go, because that's all I have to say about this. I will tell you one thing. I'm going to start posting on Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday as a general rule, so you don't go, where is that woman that I listen to? That's where I'll be, Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. Of course, today's Saturday. I'm posting today just because. But then tomorrow, Sunday, I will post again and try to keep it on schedule. So I will see you next time. And until then, you know, love is coming your way from